Friends, coming to the today's class, and from the last two classes, we have been discussing about the industrial plans, isn't it? So how the government of India has adapted various changes as far as the secondary sector is concerned. So primary sector, agricultural, secondary is industry, and tertiary is the service sector. And how the government of India has initiated by coming up with the industrial policies in 1948. So friends, in the previous classes, we focused on what are the highlights of industrial policy in 1948 we discussed in the previous class, and after that immediately we focused on industrial policy 1956. Later we also discussed about 1980 policy, and like that we discussed each and every policy in detail. And what's your duty is to go and study all these content and prepare your own notes, because whatever the content we have been discussing in the class, it is hardly 50 to 60%. Remaining for the examination, you need to prepare your own notes. That is what I am saying from the day one. So prepare your own notes. Anyway, I have been shared the first unit with you, and to add some content more to that unit. And anyway, after completion of the second unit also, I'll do the same thing. And coming to the today's class, the most important policy you need to remember for your entire lifetime. And what is that policy? That is the Industrial Policy Resolution 1991. And this policy is also known as New Economic Policy. And this new economic policy is launched in 1991 under the leadership of P.V. Narasimha Rao. And why this policy is so important as far as the Indian economy is concerned, because this is the policy which has opened the doors for the global exposure. Means they are inviting all the entrepreneurs, all the companies across the globe to start their business operations in India. Means the India is opening the gates, and that particular gates is one of the important highlight of the new economic policy. And one more important point, how they opened the gates means they opened the gates with a model, and what that model is, LPG model. And this is going to be an important model for the economic growth, where the P.V. Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh, they thought that. And LPG means liberalization, P means privatization, G means globalization. These three words are the magical words, isn't it? These three words are magical words for the Indian economy growth. So friends, I said in the previous classes also, what is the reason why this new economic policy came? Because economic policy came in 1991 because Indian economic system is under crisis, where the inflation is very high and the foreign reserves are very less, isn't it? And where the employment opportunities are not there, there is no good rainfall. All these reasons made Indian economy into a crisis. So to come out of that particular crisis, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh, they came with a new economic policy 1991. This is what the introduction we studied. Yes. And what are the objectives? What are the objectives? Because if you are going with any 5-year plan or maybe any policy, they stand on few objectives, because at the end of the day, they check that whether they achieved the objectives or not. And the first important objective is growth. Obviously, growth, isn't it? So it should have a sustained growth, and the productivity should increase. And not only gaining the productivity and the growth, it should also give the employment opportunity, friends. So your policy should give employment opportunities. It should give the employment opportunities to all the country, all the people. And also we discussed utilization of the human resources. Use the resources properly. And next one is attain international competitiveness. What is international competitiveness means? compete with the international companies. So even though you are a domestic companies, but always your strategy should be in such a way that you should always compete with the international companies. Because once you are opening the gates means, do you think that we are restricting? No, no, UK country companies cannot come, American companies cannot come. Is there any policy like that? No. When you are opening the gates, simple example, friends. If you open your house gate, what happens? Anyone? You are opening the gate means the people relatives will come through the gate, or the roadside dogs and other animals also enter into through the gate or not?
Yes.
Everything will be under.
Yes, because you are opening means all the big companies, small companies, developed countries, underdeveloping countries, all the developing nations, everybody has an opportunity, isn't it? You are opening gates means you must be in a position to compete with them. Isn't it? No, no, no. American companies can't enter into India because American companies are highly competitive. My Indian companies cannot compete. You must develop your companies where you should compete with the international standards. And not only that, India should transform. India should transform not only a domestic company, it should transform itself into a global company. So friends, LPG, G, last G, what is globalization? Means always be global. And there was a saying in India that think local, act global. Please remember, think locally and always act globally. Means whenever you are attempting any strategies or applying any strategies, always you should keep not only your domestic perspective, not only Indian context you need to understand, always you need to think from the global perspective, because getting success at global level is not that easy. Do you accept it or not? Success at global level is that easy?
No.
No,
sir. No, sir.
because you should maintain consistent quality, innovative strategies, isn't it? Your price should not be high and it should not be less. And you always should have a competitive spirit. You should compete with the international partners. So with these objectives, the 1991 policy came into action. And these are the objectives. Now, the next question comes, what is your primary focus? On what aspects you are focusing more? The first one, friends, deregulating. Isn't it? What is deregulating? Regulating means control. Please listen. In 1991 policy, the first focal point is deregulating Indian industries. What is regulating means? Restricting. Do you understand what is regulating means? Regulating means what?
Controlling.
Controlling, restricting. But what is deregulating? It's quite opposite.
Not control.
Not control means
Freedom.
free. Very good. Very good. Removing the restriction. For example, every parent has a restriction on children. That is for the benefit of the students. At your age, you doesn't understand. But what sometimes your parents will also remove the restriction, isn't it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
all your BBA students, you want to go for an industrial visit to Bangalore, isn't it? And if you convince your parents properly, then automatically they give the permission for all the BBA and integrated students. Will have a visit in the next year for Bangalore, isn't it? Means what they are doing, depending on the situation, they are removing the restriction. So the main focus on the Indian industries is deregulating the Indian industry. And now what is deregulating means? Giving freedom. Giving freedom in what way? Giving freedom in terms of issuing licenses. Please listen carefully. Issuing licenses freely and giving all the facilities freely means simply you are giving freedom and flexibility. All the industries are given freedom and flexibility to act on your own. But before 1991, all the rules and regulations are very rigid. I already said all the rules and regulations are very rigid.
Rigid.
All are under control. But what you need to do, you in the 1991, you lift the ban. Just like that, when the night curfew has been removed, just like that. So deregulating industries and allowing the industries in a free and flexible environment. When your mind is free and flexible, your thought process increases, isn't it? So if a company is giving freedom, automatically the company's performance increases or decreases?
Increase.
Increases. Chances are there for increasing. So freedom, and not only that, this policy is facilitating for the faster growth, isn't it? So these are the three important points you need to. So deregulating means removing restrictions and removing rigid rules and all those, giving freedom and also facilitating them to the faster growth of the Indian industry. So this is what the in 1991 overview. But friends, to do all these in Indian context, it is not that easy. So please remember, saying is very easy. Do this, do that. If you work hard, we'll achieve that. Saying is easy, but when it comes to action, it is not that easy. And a country like India is a democratic country. And which type of economy we are living in? Which type of economy?
Mixed economy.
Mixed economy. India is a mixed economy. When India got independence, India has taken 50% of the socialistic features and 50% of the capitalistic, because China is a socialistic economy and where America is a capitalistic economy. We can't work 100% like America. We cannot work 100% like China, isn't it? Because what we need to do, we need mixed both. That is the reason there is a combination of private sector as well as the public sector. So friends, under 1991 policy, to achieve whatever the objectives we studied in the previous slide, it's a time to implement. And how you implement those? By all these important factors are important components. And what is the first one, friends? Industrial licensing. And what is the second one? Foreign investments. And what is third one? Foreign technology agreements. Next one, in the public sector policy. And last one is MRTP Act 1969. So please remember. So whenever if anybody asks you what are the major areas or major government initiatives which focused to achieve the 1991 objectives, you must be in a position to answer. What the first one is? Industrial licensing. Foreign investments. This foreign investment, don't confuse friends. Foreign investments are nothing but your FDI. What is FDI means? Foreign direct
investment.
Investments, yes. Isn't it? So second one and third one is agreement on technological agreements. Isn't it? And also giving importance to private sector, but they are not ignoring which sector?
Public sector.
Public sector. Isn't it? For example, you are giving importance to the international companies to come and establish their companies in India. But can we ignore the local domestic sector, public sector?
No.
No. It should also be given importance. And last one is introducing of MRTP Act. Isn't it? MRTP Act means Monopolistic Restrictive Trade Practices Act. So these points I'm going to explain in the coming 15 minutes. So first one by one, I'm going to explain. Please listen carefully. Yes. So now we'll discuss one by one. So coming to the first point, how industrial sector. So what is the first point? De-reservation of public sector. So before 1991, the highest priority is given to which sector? Highest priority.
Private sector.
Before
Public
1991.
Public sector.
If I say public, I say no, then you say private sector. Isn't it? So please be careful. Before 1991, which sector has been dominating sector in India? One and only public sector. For
Public
example,
sector.
BSNL. Have you heard this word BSNL?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
MTNL.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
What
sir.
is MTNL? VSNL. Have you heard this? You know BSNL means Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. What is MTNL? Mahanagar Telecom Nigam Limited. What is VSNL? Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. All these companies are under which sector?
Public.
Public sector. All these are public sector. Which company? Telecom companies. Isn't it? And these are all the dominant companies before
21.
1991.
91.
Before 1991, these were the BSNL, MTNL, and VSNL were the dominating sectors as far as the communication sector is concerned. So when after 1991 policy, there was the de-reservation of public sector, means reducing the exclusive powers to companies like BSNL, company like MTNL and VSNL. What it means? Means giving less priority. What is de-reservation of public sector means? Sectors that were earlier exclusively reserved for public sector was what they have done. They have
Reduced.
Reduced.
and reduced it is nothing but
De-reservation.
right. And means not only that, they have only these 5 public sectors are there in these 5 core areas like arms and amenities, atomic energy, mineral oils, railway transport and mining are purely under public sector. But the remaining all sectors can be established by private sector. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? That is what the government has started with the de-reservation. But currently what happened? Currently even they removed all the 5 core areas. Now there are only atomic energy, railway operations are exclusively reserved for public sector. Isn't it? This is what the current situation. Coming to the next point, de-licensing. De-licensing. Licensing means issuing the license. What is de-licensing?
Removing the light.
Removing, very good. Abolition or removal. Earlier 1991, when a foreign company want to start their company in India, they need to take a license. And getting license in India, do you think that easy?
No.
No, sir.
But what 1991 has opened the gates? What they came with a concept called
De-license.
De-license.
de-licensing, means abolition of industrial licensing, except a few industries. So please remember, I'm not saying that this removal of licensing is not for all, except for few industries, they removed the licensing system, isn't it? But the 4 main companies or industries which are under license because of few reasons, because of some security reasons, because of some strategic and environmental concern, these industries need to take a license. And what are those industries who need to take the licenses? What is first one? Electronic, aerospace and defense equipment.
Defense equipment.
All the 4 companies or 4 industries, these are all de-licensed or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Huh?
No.
No,
You have to
no.
take license.
Yes, de-licensing means there is no license system. But government in 1991, they have given 4 industries where they need. Why they have given? Because there is a security issue, there is a environmental issues. So for that, all the 4 sectors is mandatory to take a
License.
license. And what is the first one? Electronic, aerospace and defense equipment you need to, and some hazardous chemicals, harm chemicals, which you are, the chemicals are there. For that also you need to take the permission, and also some industrial explosives also you need to take the permission. And not only that, cigars and cigarette and tobacco manufacture and substitute, these tambaku, pan masala, cigarettes, all these companies, all these industries, what they need to do? They need to take the
License.
license. But the remaining all the sectors, what the government has approached, which concept?
License.
D-license.
E-licensing. Remember, this is what the industrial licensing is concerned. And coming to the next point, friends, right, very, very important, disinvestment. So investment means, you know, what is investment means? Companies, foreign companies, they invest their money either directly or indirectly on Indian companies. That is what you know by investment. What is de-investment means? You know that majority of the sectors before 1991 was under which sector? Which sector? Public sector. Now, with 1991, government opened the gates that even a private person can also buy a stake under which sector?
Private.
Public sector.
Public sector.
For example, I'm running a firm. I'm running BSNL. And before 1991, BSNL is purely 100% under the control of
Public sector.
Public
public
sector.
sector government. And its 100% stake is with whom? Government or private? Government.
Government.
So what is the disinvestment means? Out of this
Selling.
100%,
Selling some parts.
49% stake I will give it to
Private.
private. And this concept is called as
Disinvestment of
disinvestment.
public
Simple,
sector.
very, very easy, isn't it? So now 51% stake is with the government and 49% is with the
Private.
with private,
Private.
isn't it? So this concept is called as disinvestment. Means
Disinvestment.
Investment.
today even NTPC, you know about NTPC?
Yes, sir.
NTPC, even NTPC is also under disinvestment. Means private stake is there. A company, government company's private stake is there. In Indian company, in Indian government company means we call it as a disinvestment. That is also one of the important features. And next one is liberalizing, giving freedom. Giving freedom for which investments?
Foreign investment.
So just now I said, you are opening the door and opening the gates means everybody will come. You are not putting any board. This is only for our relatives. You are not putting board like that. You are opening the door means all the foreign companies and all the big companies, small companies, every company. Liberalization, giving freedom, isn't it? And this was the first, please remember, this was the first industrial policy in which foreign companies were allowed to have a majority of stake in India.
India.
So please remember, and in 47 highest priority industry, these statistics are important. 47 top industries, the FDI is allowed to how much percentage?
51.
51. For example, a company has 100% stake and a foreign company has 50% stake in that company, means a foreign investment means out of 100 rupees, your share is how much?
51.
51.
So 47 industries has given a freedom. They can put their money up to how much percentage? How much percentage?
51%.
51%, isn't it? And not only that, for exporting category, the FDI is allowed in few sector up to
74%.
24% is also allowed. But friends, in this particular contest, even in few sectors, the government has allowed 100% FDI also, isn't it? And friends, you search on the Google simply which companies or which sector where 100% FDI is allowed in India. You can type it on the Google, you will get the data. So friends, there are different categories. In few sectors, government is encouraging 51% FDI. In few sectors, it is applying for 74%. And few sectors, the government is open the gates for how much percentage?
100.
100%. Like isn't it? For example, banking and hospitals, 100% FDI is allowed, isn't it? Yes. At these points, I'll close it in 5 minutes and I'll stop. So coming to the next one is foreign technology. So for example, friends, what is that foreign technology agreement means? When you are allowing the foreign companies to India, you are not allowing their only money. You are also agreeing on which agreement you are agreeing on?
Technology.
Technological.
If you are allowing Japan company to invest their money in India, you are also allowing the Japan technology to India, isn't it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, but here these approvals are done under automatic approvals. Please remember, tomorrow class I am going to discuss in detail with. So there was a system called automatic. For example, in our households, we will use some automatic goods like your washing machine is an automatic. What is an automatic means? What is the meaning of automatic?
It regulates itself.
It controls, it regulates it, everything, it regulates on by own. So friends, India has opened the gates by delicensing, and not only that, under foreign technology agreement, it has opened the route called an automatic route. Means easily you can enter automatically to Indian company to invest your money, as well as by transferring the foreign technology from international companies to Indian companies. Do you understand, friends?
Sir.
Sir.
Now the last one is MRTP Act. So what is this MRTP Act? Monopolistic restrictive trade practices. So government of India thought that if all the power is there in the hands of few people. So friends, at the time of the business objectives, we studied that all the business organizations are powerhouses. How many of you have remembered? I don't know. We studied it or not. Business organizations are considered as
Powerhouses.
powerhouses, isn't it? Means it has a lot of power of resources. So if it is having a power, do you think that it can control the entire country or not? Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Sir.
Definitely. How Reliance company and Nirav Modi, they are controlling the country. How Vijay Mallya has controlled by doing some false things, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
what the government thought that such kind of things should not be there. Means power should not be there in the hands of only few people, isn't it? And to remove all this, what the government made an act called
MRTP.
Act. Monopoly Restrictive Trade Practices Act, because it removes the dominance by the few industries. And friends, right now the MRTP Act was not under force, and this act was replaced in 2002 by which act?
Competition.
Competition Act 2002. But we need to study both MRTP Act and we need to study the Competition Act also. So friends, I'm going to start the class with the poll question, and you answer the poll, and I'll stop the class. So I'm going the poll question for today's class. So I'm launching the poll. Please read it carefully and answer.
Completed, sir.
Okay, done. You can leave. Once you completed, you
Completed,
can leave.
sir.
Yes, you can
Sir,
leave.
sir, it is 11:30 only, no, sir.
No, but you need to log in 5 minutes earlier, 5-10 minutes earlier. Because we got the inspection by 11:30, we need to close.
Okay, sir.
So you can, those who have finished the poll, you can leave the meeting and you can join the VC sir meeting.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm closing the poll also. Okay, the answer is Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act.